And I will also take the long shot as well, Karl-Anthony Towns at plus 1,200, whatever you want to talk about. Now, I'll start with the Karl-Anthony Towns. I just think first of all, he's the best shooting big of all time right now. Career-wise, he's got one of the best career three-point shooting percentages. I think if you are a big that joins the three-point contest, you have to have a lot of confidence coming into that. And, like, you got to know, like, you can't, like, embarrass yourself, essentially. You know? So I think he goes in there, and I think he has a good performance, and at plus 1,200 or whatever, he gets to the second round. I'm feeling okay about that.
If Cat can win this, I'll be shocked.
Hello, everyone. Lowbaggers everywhere. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. This is the Loshak in the Bag show that we do every Tuesday. Jimmy the Bag, Lowbaggers everywhere. Today is February 22nd. This is the most wonderful time of the year as far as I'm concerned. I love college basketball. At this point in my handicapping career, I think it's what I'm best at. Jimmy the Bag, how are things going on your end and in the world of the Lowbaggers and Pub Sports Radio everywhere?
Well, Jose took the onus to pat himself on the back there off the top of our show, but he did cash a plus 1,200, and now his bets are ridiculous. He made 12 Super Bowl bets, and I was concerned. It takes big old balls. I'm not sure. We're not even sure if those are balls or what's going on there, but they look sort of like balls. And he went plus 1.15 units on 12 Super Bowl bets. Then he makes 5 bets for the NBA skills contest and cashes with Cat plus 1,200. So he's now 94 plus 21.56 units with an ROI plus 11.47% and an average line of plus 185, Pete.
Is he some kind of AI-generated machine learning hologram and not a real person? Because when you look at his face, there's no way that's AI-generated. There's no way that is something that is created by machine learning. But maybe he's a real person, this guy, Jose Bouquet, this entity?
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that this is all happening, that he is the best among us. It's hard to believe. So Jose cashes with Karl-Anthony Towns at plus 1,200, and we were all shocked. Let me just put it at that, shocked. So that's the big storyline going right now on the show, is that his, for whatever reason, I struggle to say it, but his continued excellence.
It's, what a wild, crazy world we're living in, Jimmy the Bag. You know what I'm saying? This is like, expect the unexpected. The life continues to shock and surprise and amaze. Hey, listen, I went up against him head to head last week. You remember that, Jimmy the Bag? I was like, this guy with this. I'm going head to head with this guy. All right, I'll go head to head with this guy. Okay. You beat me. Only by a half point, but he won, didn't he?
He cost you a steak. In fact,
he said that. Yeah. But it's interesting because he pointed out that, he wanted to fade. It was only by a half point. It was very close, right? Yeah. He pointed. Here's that asshole. Here's the
half point.
Yeah. Oh, Providence, the luckiest team in all of college basketball, right? Interesting. You're the luckiest handicapper in all of Pub Sports Radio history, right? So I think you have something in common with that. No, I don't know. Maybe he's not. It can be. Sometimes luck happens. Sometimes you're a team like Providence that basically sucks, but you get lucky and you have a good record. So is it possible, Jose Bouquet, I'm asking you, that as a handicapper similar to Providence, you basically suck, but you got so lucky that all of a sudden everyone thinks you're like one of the best handicappers around? Is that possible? Or are you really good, Jose Bouquet?
Pete, I think you're onto something, Pete. I think you're onto something. I think you're onto a lot of things. I think a lot of people are still struggling to figure out that I am a real human being, that I have legs under here, and that I am a real boy making all these picks. So I'm just proud that I'm a winning capper, Pete. And
all
Pete,
right.
Pete, by the way, speaking of things, you coming to San Antonio? I'm a real boy.
You coming to San Antonio, Pete? I know you are. Come on, Pete.
I don't know. It's either that or joining up with the Azov battalion in Ukraine. I might have to do that, but we'll see. I'm still talking to my contacts. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in those weeks, but yeah, it's still up in the air. I would really like to. The more I'm getting more and more excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
I mean, Pete, what do you want? You want 30 units up? What do I have to do, Pete? 30 units, 40 units?
Listen, congratulations, Jose Bouquet. Congratulations. Villanova's I bet on the Villanova game today. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But what can I say? Congratulations, Jose Bouquet. Unbelievable.
I'm just still waiting for those words of affirmation.
All right, let's pull him right out of there. It is pretty spectacular work, though,
yeah.
Without a doubt. It is spectacular work. So, Pete, for me personally, my NHL got even worse. And I have now broke down the season in week by week by week. And if I just have a winning week every week, I'll get back to the black. And I've made 2 bets on the NHL card. I put them out last night, and I smashed market moves. And that's all I can do. And I'm only going to – I don't want to add anything. They were the 2 bets that were screaming at me, and I bet them, and I've just smashed both market moves. So that, one by 30 cents. I think they're both by 30 cents right now. So, and that's not, Bet365 doesn't offer us the best lines at first. So that feels good. But I've just been atrocious this year in NHL, and it keeps me up at night. And so do the Seagulls. The Pigeons. The Pigeons now wake me up at about 6:30 in the morning. And the reason why they wake me up is because I hear them, and I can't go back because I'm filled with rage. With rage for some reason, and then I can't go back to sleep. But in NBA, I've taken it from down 23 units to down 3.92 units. So I'm 91 and 86. So there's been a big comeback there. But, Jose is the best of us.
Yeah, he certainly is. So I mean, Jimmy the Bag, do you have any explanation for why your NHL actual picks have not been what you would like? Because as far as I listened closely to your analysis on the teams and what to expect going forward, and that has still helped me. The only team that you've had a shitty read on is Montreal, but other than that, your thoughts, and of course I do listen to Babano and Mr. Gokster and others as well. But in general, your analysis has been fairly, except for Montreal, has been very accurate this year.
Well, I've been a little snake bit. Last Tuesday when we were together, I got you on the Kings Oilers under 6.5. I really felt that the capping was sound. It was 1-0 with a minute left in the second. It was 2-2 with 5 minutes left in the third. 3-2 and then 2 empty netters made it 5-2. I feel like I can turn it around, and I expect to turn it around. And I'm going to go out fighting. I'm just going to really be very overly critical about what I do pull the trigger on. And so I can't explain it. I can't explain it, and I'm not going to really worry about it. But for instance, and we'll go into this game here shortly, the Florida Panthers game.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I have even though the Panthers are a much better hockey team than Nashville, I in everything that I wanted me to bet the Panthers here, but the -1 would have cost me -136, and -1.5 would have been about 120 or 125. But I don't want to back a team that just swept a road trip and is coming back home against the Nashville team that's rested and angry.
Right.
And so I need to stay off of it, even though I know how much better the Panthers are. And I think I just need to stay strict to those sorts of angles that I used to be very strict on, and maybe I've loosened up a little bit. So well, we'll see. Nashville in particular is a team that I've done really well with this year, both betting on and against, not for my capping, but just from listening to what you and the other experts have had to say about them. So I don't know, Jimmy the Bag, as far as I'm concerned, this year has been as great as far as your analysis is concerned. Has been since I've ever known you. So I'm not sure. I haven't been analyzing your picks pick by pick and day by day. But you seem, except for Montreal, you seem like as much on top of things in the NHL as ever. Well, I think one thing I haven't had the balls to do is follow some of the thoughts, because when the coaching change happened with the Habs, you knew that Cole Caulfield was now being coached by his idol, and that would change things around for him, and that has. And there's Nut Flush Allen, who cashed with Montreal, team total over 2.5 and plus 150. You know, you have cappers like Nut Flush Allen trusting his instincts, and cappers like myself not trusting their instincts, and it's very aggravating. I'm excited to attack this card though, and I hope I don't add anything to the 2 bets that I've already made. Shout out to everybody joining us. We got community of new knowledge, Mr. Vape, Danny A, and there he is, Nut Flush Allen. There's Guillermo Zertucci. Both Nut Flush Allen and Guillermo Zertucci will be with us. Will be rolling with us in San Antonio. We have put together a Twitter group, and it's pretty much, we have 3 spots left. There's 47 of the 50 are full. We will be adding a second group as soon as possible when the numbers need it. And we need to know tickets for the Sweet 16 on Thursday, the 24th, and the Spurs-Grizzlies game on the 30th. We will be getting a suite for the Spurs-Grizzlies game. We are deciding whether we should do that for the Sweet 16 or not. So and Jose and I want to pick up everybody who comes in. We want to pick up everybody at the airport and things of that nature. So if you're not, get with me, hook up with me, and then get you into that Twitter chat so we can start getting everything together for those dates. Shout out to Ryan Kozlowski. Mark Schillingberg in the house says, I can't get ready. Crushed January. February has been shite. Says it's getting very frustrating. Going to keep listening, taking notes. Let's get it, fellas. That happens. You know, it ebbs and flows, and you just got to keep betting within your budget and keep, be true to your bankroll and be able to handle the lows as they come and then, not cash out when the highs come, really. There's B-Ball619. He'll be rolling with us. Jay Peasy also will be rolling with us. There's Gab. Dabby Cab will be rolling with us in San Antonio. North Ender, High Wind, ready to go. Nasty Nate, another man who will be rolling with us in San Antonio. There's Strategic Investments, Miami, Ohio, over 156. There's our first.
I took that one. Yes, I took that one.
From our chat. Let me lock this in here. There we go. Strategic Investments moving on the Miami, Ohio over 156. So we are going to open with NHL. Then we're going to go into NCAA basketball. And I'm looking forward to watch you work, Pete, in NCAA basketball.
Sure. Yeah, I've made a few bets. That is one of them. I got 155.5. I'm very happy to say Miami and Buffalo. You do see this in college basketball a lot. Sometimes, there's a lot of teams that get, drawn into different types of games depending on their opponents and this and that. But when they match up together, there's going to be a shootout, or in the case of like the San Diego State, Boise State, the opposite. And I think that is definitely the case with this one. I think the total is at least, let's say, 10 points too low. And I did hit that. And we've seen that a bunch of times with Buffalo games recently. I can't even remember the last one. But yeah, I agree with that is my point. And I already bet it.
There's Cab. He has moved on Arkansas -0.5 first half, Alabama -1.5 first half. We're going to be talking about both of those games here on the show. So we'll have all that set up. Jose will have the graphics up as to what will be coming. There's Big Smooth says, thank you, Pete and Jimmy. Appreciate what you've established. Thank you, chat, and all you that all that you've been doing the Magic Carpet Ride. Look at that. What a guy. What a guy. Respect to you. There's Slatsy says, Jose feeling the glory. Congrats, brother. NHL tonight. Wild in regulation and team total over 3.5. Blues regulation, team total over 3.5. Preds, Panthers, both teams to score first period at +145. And Ducks first period -0.5 at +157. Let me make sure that I have all of Slatsy's action so we can discuss that when we break down this NHL card. Let me pop that right here under NHL. There we go. All right, we are just about to get started here. Respect to all of you guys. Bananas and Grapes, Rocks are 82. Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Another one of our cappers who's just been absolutely destroying here. Man, impressive. Dan Kelly says, good morning, my dudes. I'm feeling like I might get dad of the year. My son just sent me this text message. A good secondhand golf site is Golf Avenue.
Shout out to Dan Kelly. Guy's got his priorities in order in life. Hell yeah.
The real video saying this is a great year for 2-team parlays, but faves might hurt to place, but feels good to get paid. All right. So Slatsy says, yes, Jimmy, the Leafs jackets total up to 7. I got over 6.5 and -115. Didn't even have to pay very much juice for that total that's already hit 7. That makes me feel very, very good. Okay, Community New Knowledge being running hot with his Cash Me Out picks. All right, it's time to get to work. There's Jared JB. Thank you guys all. I wish I could give you all a shout out individually because you deserve it. But let's get to work right now, and thank you so much for joining us. There is Millsy ready to get to work as well. And shout out to not only Not Flush for that great bet on the Habs team total over, but I loved what our guy Clint, Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast, did yesterday by laddering the Canucks. He had them a big bet on the money line, and then he had a -1.5, and he had a -2.5. They won 5-2, so great work there. Rocks Ready 2 says, I wish I could go to San Antonio, but I started a new job last fall. My vacation doesn't kick in until April. Damn, maybe next time. I can promise you there will be a next time. Okay, Pistol Pete, it is time for the National Hockey League. Our first game is below. Are you ready to set a table?
Yeah, you want to go?
Let's do it.
Let's start. All right, Nashville and Florida. I feel like I have a pretty good read on Nashville in general, right? They were a decent team, and at times I bet on them in spots in the first half of the season. But they're also a generally very beatable team, right? Everyone talks about how great Saros is, which is I guess he is, but they're very beatable even with him. And I know that a lot of people, including yourself, Jimmy the Bag, are kind of down on Nashville in the second half of the season and certainly in upcoming weeks. And Florida, you pretty much said it in the beginning of the show. An awesome home record, but coming off of a nice road streak of winning, and 3 straight road wins where they put up a lot of points. And Nashville is very rested. They do have Saros in goal. And I was thinking, how big of a favorite will Florida be here? And I was expecting it to open somewhere in the mid 200s, maybe. They opened less than, I saw -193 was the first line that I saw. So I haven't bet this one, and I guess I'm going to hold off. I understand that, that Nashville is rested, and that maybe, you might not necessarily want to bet Florida coming back home after a run of road losses. But it also seems to me like Florida is on a mission. They're just so deep, so great at home that even in this situation, they would be worth a shot. So if you gave me a free play, if I had to take either, an upset by Nashville as a dog or Florida -1 on a free play, I think I would take Florida -1. But I didn't bet it. I probably won't. What's your take on this game, Jimmy the Bag?
Well, let's break this down. That was a nice table-setting job there. Dan Kelly says Pete's mic volume much higher than Jimmy's. Is that the case, Jose? Do I need to add to my volume? Do I need more? We're getting a thumbs up there. Okay, we're good. We're good, Pete. Don't worry.
Okay. You want me to turn right?
Okay. No, your money. Pete, Jose will let us know. Predators 28, 18-4, 14-9-4 on the road. Panthers 35, 10-5, 23, 3-0 at home. That is unbelievable. They are now 5 points clear of the Lightning, but the Lightning have a game in hand. I have them to win the division at +425, and the Leafs do not look very good right now. We'll get into them in a second. We're at Florida Live's Arena in Sunrise. UC Saros is the best part. Well, Roman Josi and UC Saros are the best parts of this Predator squad. Saros 24-15-3, 2.49 goals against average, 923 save percentage. Shout out Sergei Bobrovsky. What a year he has had after last year's debacle and the contract looking so bad. 26-4-3, 2.51 goals against average, 919 save percentage. One shout out. Nashville's power plays look very good this year, 23.8%, and their penalty killing has been okay, but I guess below average, 79.9%. Florida special teams haven't been that good. They just have 4 quality lines. If you look at the players that are healthy scratches, they're really strong players, and they just are so deep. Only 20.5% power play, 79.3% penalty killing. You're absolutely right about this line, and it didn't move. It opened up at Bet365 at -200, and it just sat there. It sat there for hours and hours and hours, and it just moved to -210, which was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. The Predators have lost all 4 games since returning from their All-Star break. They come in off a 5-3 loss at Carolina back on Friday. So they've been sitting there, and I imagine they went home in between, but they're an angry group. Well, if that's in them, if they have the heart, and you can talk about Duchesne and Johansson maybe not having said heart, but Roman Josi had 3 assists. He has 8 assists on a 5-game point streak. He's just spectacular. So he's got 51 points to lead the team, 15 power play assists. Philip Forsberg has 25 goals, and Matt Duchesne, 10 power play goals, 44 points in 46 games. And it is just unbelievably shocking to me because he had 13 points in 34 games last year, and I basically thought his career was over. Let's go to the Panthers. They looked excellent on this road trip. It was something that we kind of held over them, that, they're not that good on the road. Well, they were amazing on this road trip. They began it with a 3-2 overtime victory in Carolina. I was on Carolina. And Reinhart scored with 45 seconds left, and then Ekblad scored 16 seconds into overtime. And I had Carolina, and it was upsetting. They followed that up with a 6-2 win at Minnesota. That total went up to 7, and Babano gave out the over. All their games have been going over when these two teams play, but the 7 was just too high for me. So I took the under, and, 6-2 final. The Wild started pulling their goalie with 5.5 minutes left, and that's going to crush any under. And that was very upsetting. But their defense, Pete, has surprised me. We knew Ekblad was good. We didn't know that he was going to be a perennial Norris Trophy winner because we've always compared him to Hedman, and Hedman's been so good. But now Ekblad is standing up and showing why he was the number 1 overall pick. But Brandon Montour, Mackenzie Weegar, all 3 of them scored goals against the Blackhawks. They have the best home record in the NHL, which we've spoken about. They have the most points in the Eastern Conference. They have the highest scoring offense in the NHL, averaging 4.16 goals per game. Huberdeau leads the NHL in assists. Barkov has 23 goals despite missing 13 games. And they run up and down their lineup. But traditionally, a team coming off a spectacular road trip, coming home against a very angry group that's on a losing streak, that has a freshness advantage, is a bet that I don't want to make in the past, and I've been making them. And so I'm just going to stay off this. But I'm with you. If I had a free bet, I would have taken the Panthers -1, -1 and -136. But I can't do it. So, what do you think about this total, Pete? Why don't we talk about the total, as we have only talked about this side at this point. Let's take a look at what the market has done with the total. We have it opening up at 6.5. There's been a 20-cent move at Pinnacle from -107 to -127. And I get that. I completely get that. But if Nashville wants to fight fire with Florida in an offensive game, they're going to lose. And I don't expect Hines to coach that way. What do you think of this total?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the total exactly, because you don't know exactly what Nashville's going to do in terms of their strategy. And anytime a game with Saros is involved, where Saros is involved, it's very tough to take an over. Yeah, I'm just thinking that maybe Florida is worth a play here, but I'm not seeing any comments giving opinions on this one, except for Nutflesh Allen saying that maybe the Nashville team total over, which is an interesting look. But I guess I'm just going to pass on this one, Jimmy the Bag. Very tempting to take Florida -1, though, isn't it?
It is, and it has been, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Let's move on to the next spot on the card. Just a fascinating game for cappers. Toronto Maple Leafs at Columbus Blue Jackets. Why don't you set a table?
Yeah, Toronto, of course, on a back-to-back, they lost at Montreal yesterday. Now 2 straight losses, right, as a huge favorite. But the St. Louis game was, maybe you give them a pass on that one or a mulligan on that one, because St. Louis was super up for that one. Feels like a big bounce-back spot here for Toronto. They're a huge road favorite. I did take a shot with the Toronto team total over. Now, I'm not sure if they're, worth a bet here as a huge road favorite, but I do think at the very least they're going to come back and have a big offensive game. And I believe who's in goal for Columbus? Berube, right? Is that true?
JF Berube, whom they love in the
room.
Right,
they love Berube, but he's already made one start where they, gave him their all. And he gave up only 3 goals there. And whether Toronto wins or not, I guess if Toronto loses, it goes over. If it goes under, then that probably means that Toronto won handily. I took the Toronto team total over. I can understand why that might be why some people might say that's a stupid thing to do, but that's my play here. I was thinking about the over or the first period over. They seem a little bit obvious, though. I know that Toronto, at least in terms of their post-game interviews, were talking about how they want to be better defensively, at least for this game. But it's a big bounce-back spot for Toronto, and instead of taking them, on a puck line or something, I just took the team total over. I did make that bet. What do you think about that, Jim?
I think that the bet makes sense. I love your point on Jean-Francois Berube already having a game under his belt where they went all out to succeed for him. He's had a terrible year for the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL. 4-9-4 with an .891 save percentage and a 3.37 goals against average. He had a terrible 2021 with the Ontario Reign. 3.39 goals against average, 885 save percentage. You have to go back to 29 starts with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms to find a year in 2019-20 to find a year where he had a save percentage over 900. You have to go back to 2017-18, the only other year he did it, other than when he came out with the Manchester Monarchs in 2013. So, but here's a journeyman, and the guys in the room really battle for journeyman like this. 30 years old. Maybe his last cup of coffee in the NHL. There's Ron Crawford in the house. Great to see all you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Eric Jones ready to rock with us as well. So the 6.5 has moved to 7 at some books. It's at minus 145 at Bodog, minus 136 at Sports Interaction. I got the 6.5 at minus 115 last night. I was surprised it was at this number. And let's break down the very interesting parts here. And Toronto is taking money. And I knew that they would, but there's two very interesting issues with their defense right now. And one is hard to figure out. We don't have a lot of information on it. And that's Rasmus Sandin, the 2019 first-round pick for them, who's been very good in handling outlet passes very well. Rasmus Sandin is not playing because of salary cap issues. They need him on the ice, but we were told he was going to play last night, but he didn't. So now, is he going to play tonight? I don't know. But Jake Muzzin isn't going to play tonight. And he is such an important defenseman for this hockey team because he's so accountable and so important defensively. He's a stay-at-home guy that can be trusted, that will block shots, that will clear the front of the net. So he is got concussion protocol. And Muzzin has been dealing with this all year. He missed 7 games recently. When did he miss 7 games?
Hey, Tim, can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you take 2 units off of Jose's official record that you keep track of as a punishment for not changing the friggin' graphic on the screen? Jose, wake up. Wake up. That's a 2 units. 2-unit penalty right there, Jose.
That's the only thing to slow him down. So Jack Campbell is going to be in that. I expect them to step up for this hockey team, but I don't know if Toronto really is a team with the kind of heart that will sit there and say, oh, we got to step up here after last night's poor performance. I don't know. I legitimately don't know if they have that in them. Their power play is the best in the league at 31.1%, penalty killing 84.8%, Columbus power play at 17.2%, 80.4%, or power play at 17.2%, penalty killing 80.4% for Columbus. So they've allowed 11 goals over their last 2 games. They have no Muzzin. We don't know about Sandin. They want to bring in Ilya Labushkin, who they picked up in that trade with the Coyotes, but he's not, had a game with the Leafs. Is he going to be comfortable with his pairing, comfortable in the situation? I don't know. And by the way, Arizona waived Carter Hutton, traded him to Toronto, and they gave him back. That's what's happened to Carter Hutton's career. So he's been loaned to the AHL affiliate in Tucson. They picked up Ryan Zingle as part of that trade for Nick Ritchie, and then they waived Zingle because they're really concerned about salary cap issues. So they wanted the $1.1 million contract, then they wanted to waive him. He's being picked up by the Sharks. So the Jackets have won 2 straight. They've scored 7 goals in each of those games. They come in off a 7-3 home victory versus Buffalo on Sunday. I couldn't believe this opened at minus 115 for the over 6.5. I was shocked. That line A, Boone, Jenner, Gustav Nyquist line continues to play very well. And then we have Jean-Francois Berube in goal. You put it all together, I can't believe that they offered a 6.5 with limited juice, and I bet it.
There's a lot of comments coming in here. Dan Kelly says that is a little harsh there, Pete. Hey, Dan Kelly, I went head-to-head with Jose last week, and he won by a half point, but he still won. I think that was pretty harsh of him to do to me. A lot of people saying that there's something wrong with Toronto. Chris Comatini, can't trust Toronto right now. A lot of these comments that something is up with their heads. They seem off, and that is not a throwaway thing to say. That does sometimes happen with teams. Teams are maybe for extended period of times or short periods of time, less than the sum of their parts. They should be better. Here you go, JPZ. Something is wrong with Toronto right now. What's going on with Toronto? Is something wrong with them, Jimmy the Bag?
They're an immensely skilled hockey team that just seems to struggle when push comes to shove. And they're so talented that there's high expectations for this team. And now they're going to have to play either the Lightning, the Panthers in the first round, and likely on the road. And they've got to do something to change that, because that's not how you want to start off a playoff, especially with the immense pressure that's going to be on their shoulders. And then with other teams, when they lose embarrassingly to the Canadians or to the worst team in the league on the first half of back-to-back, you think, oh, they're going to step up here. And I can't say that for this group. I'm not saying that they're lacking hard. We haven't seen enough. And, no one would ever say that Johnny Tavares doesn't have heart and, anything like that. But we haven't seen this team step up under pressure before. And,
all right. Well, listen, I bet it myself, and I'm seeing 4.5 at plus money at Pinnacle, but at Heritage I'm seeing 3.5 minus 135 for the Toronto team total over. So I'll take that one. You can make that official, Jimmy the Bag. Even though, they're going to have to have some character and look inside of themselves and come to play here. Which a lot of people in the comment section aren't necessarily believing is what they're all about right now. Good heart, as Diehard Podcast MMA might say, but I'll take it over 3.5 minus 135. It should hit, right, Jim?
You know what? I'm not betting on the Leafs to bounce back here. Would I be surprised? Would I be surprised if the Jackets win 4-3 or 5-3? Mm-hmm. No, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think that it's more than 50% chance that the Leafs will be the team that puts up more than 3.5 goals. But
all right, I'll take it. Over 3.5 minus 135. They gotta have it in them, and they have the talent to put up a big offensive number here. And I know that Columbus is gonna. I mean, Berube is overall a significantly subpar goalie by NHL standards right now, right?
Yes, without a doubt. But these journeymen seem to step up. Nutflush, if I think you need to keep a very close eye on whether Sandin is going to be in the lineup tonight. Because as we've always said, if a team's missing 2 of their top 4 defensemen, you have to fade them. And if this is a situation where Sandin is not in the lineup, and we know Muzzin's not going to be in the lineup, I don't think Morgan Riley's going to want to pinch that much, because he's going to know he's playing 30 minutes out there. So it's tricky.
Sam Colmer says too much talent, not enough toughness, heart. Is that what's going on with Toronto? Too much talent, which does sometimes happen. You see that a lot in the NBA.
No, I don't think they have too much talent. No, but I do think that it would help to have a guy like Joe Pavelski, who is just so accountable, a 37-year-old who can still play, but will ensure that everybody else is clearly focused. But we all thought that Johnny Tavares was going to be that guy. So I don't know. They do need a bruiser. There's no doubt about it. They need a bruiser, but those are hard to find, because you need a bruiser that's fast enough to skate with the elite players of your team. So it's tricky.
All right. Well, you made that official for me, right, Jim?
Yes, I did. You are on the Leafs team total over 3.5 at minus 135, and it's minus 190 at other books. So Slatsy's saying that's a great line and worth attacking.
Wait a minute. I want to make sure I'm not giving a stale line here. Toronto Maple Leafs team total over 3.5 minus 190 at other books.
That's what Slatsy's saying, and that doesn't surprise me. Let me pull it up right here on Bet365. I bet you it's.
No, I'm looking at Heritage right now, logged in. I'm not using some non-logged in stale lines feed, and I'm seeing 3.5 minus 135 for Toronto.
Yeah, no, book it, baby.
All right, okay, official play, Jim.
I like it. You're in. Let's move on to the next spot. Wild Ottawa Senators. Take it away, Pete.
Minnesota, a great team, right? I've listened to what you guys have had to say about Minnesota. You're all very high on them in general. Pounded Edmonton last game, but lost 2 in a row. But here we go again. Ottawa, is a team that has cost me a little bit, I think, this year. I haven't gone over it game by game, but, they're a subpar team that is nevertheless undervalued consistently, and that still seems to be the case. And this is another perfect example of maybe the market undervaluing Ottawa at least just a little bit. Minnesota clearly the better team here, should win, but the opening line I saw, or the first line I saw, was like plus 190 for Ottawa. Now it's up to plus 206. So money has come in on Minnesota, or the line has moved in that direction. Doesn't surprise me that the line has moved in that direction, but again, it just feels like Ottawa should be a huge underdog here, but maybe once again not quite this huge. Jimmy the Bag, what's your take on this one? I haven't bet this one yet.
Slatsy says historical trends matter. Wild 9-0 in their last 9 meetings and 4-0 in Ottawa. Yeah, they've had the Senators' number. They squeaked out a victory last time they faced them, but yeah, the Wild keep beating this hockey team. The Senators have handled the injuries to Batherson and Josh Norris very well, and their best defenseman, Thomas Chabot. They've handled those injuries better than I expected them to, and now Chabot is supposed to be returning for this game. How good are the Minnesota Wild? I'm not fully sure. I know they're a good hockey team, but are they elite? And they may be elite. Certainly was funny watching them lose 2 straight there in pretty questionable circumstances, but they sure bounced back, and they are 3rd in the NHL, averaging 3.81 goals per game. And it's Kakkonen who's been the best goalie, 8-1-1 over the past 10 starts. I had Talbot listed last night when I was capping this game. I'm not sure if that is still the case. Talbot, 19-10-1, 2.91 goals against average, 9-11 save percentage. In the first half of last year, I thought Kakkonen was the best goaltender for the Wild too, but then Talbot just went on this roll. He's not doing that this year, and I don't know if he deserves this job. Matt Murray I have, but I know Matt Murray's been dealing with an injury right now, so I don't know if Matt Murray is confirmed here. Minnesota, 21.2% power play, 79.1% penalty killing. Ottawa, 16.3% power play, 80.5% penalty killing. Wild snapped their 2-game losing streak with that 7-3 win at the Oilers on Sunday. I mean, it was 4-0 just minutes in. They were just all over them. And Kevin Fiala, we talk about the depth of Florida, and Minnesota has the same sort of depth. They're just deep as the sea. 2 goals and assists for Fiala. Have we talked about him much on the show? I mean, 22 points in his past 18 games. You have Zuccarello has got a goal and assist. That's his 4th straight multi-point game. 11th multi-point game in his past 14. Kaprizov, we know what he's done this year. 23 goals, 39 assists, 62 points. He carries a 5-game point streak. That's 9 points in his past 5 games. And they've beaten the Senators 9 straight times. So Senators come off their 2nd straight loss, 3rd in 4 games, 2-1 at home to the Rangers on Sunday, but they're playing good. It's just they're not scoring at all. They've scored 12 goals in their past 7 games. Now they have their very offensive defenseman Thomas Chabot back. He should help here. Puzzler says Matt Murray out. Forsberg confirmed. Thank you, guys. And so, look, do you really want? You're right. Ottawa just keeps stepping up here, but the Wild have their number. I just don't want them at this price. It's not. I've not had success fading Ottawa in any situation this year. So I'm and like Kyle Hintley says, Ottawa always burns me. So I'm off this spot. Are you going to make a move, Pete?
No, I'm off it. I'm off it as well. And if you gave me a free play on it, I would probably take Ottawa one way or another at the current lines at Ottawa over plus 200.
Yeah, I get that, and I don't want to fade the Wild. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, move on, Jim.
Yeah, let's roll.
Okay, here we go. St. Louis and Philadelphia. St. Louis and Philadelphia. Let me pull up my my numbers here. Philly. Here they are. Wait, hold on a second. Wait 1 second. Let me find my. I did bet St. Louis here. Philadelphia is very beatable. I believe Tarasenko is expected back for St. Louis, right, Jim? Do I have that correct?
Yep.
All right. So hold on one second. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So St. Louis, they lost to Montreal, which at the time was very embarrassing. Maybe in retrospect, it will seem to not have been that embarrassing, because at the time they were very embarrassed, right? They came back and pounded Toronto in the next game. and now Philly has been playing a little bit better than they almost beat Pittsburgh in that game, but they're still a very beatable team. They're on a back-to-back. They hung with Carolina for as a big home dog and yesterday, which is nice. But it still feels like St. Louis it's a big spot for St. Louis. I did bet St. Louis -1 already, and I was thinking maybe the team total over as well. What do you think about that? Is Philly's just a very beatable team? St. Louis does feel sufficiently motivated because they lost to Montreal, then they pounded Toronto in the next game, but here they are once again as another big road favorite. So they got it in their heads. They'll be like, well, we're not going to just kill Toronto and then come back the next game and lose again on the road against a team that we should beat easily. So I think it's a big spot for St. Louis, and I already bet it.
I get it. You're right, though. Philadelphia's been playing a lot better. They can't seem to slam the door shut. Patrick Brown and Rasmus Ristolainen both returned, and that's helped a lot, especially Patrick Brown giving some energy to this forward group. But Sean Couturier, Ryan Ellis was supposed to be the savior of this power play. This power play is 14.4%, as Ryan Ellis has played like 4 games this year. So I took the over 6. I took the over 6. I got -105. I couldn't believe that there was going to be no VIG on this bet. I was beside myself. I just thought this was I thought these two totals in St. Louis, Philadelphia, and Toronto, Columbus were just mistakes that if I was running the book, I would never have put out. And giving me no VIG on the Blues Flyers, I jumped on right away. It's now up to -120 at Bet365. So it's only.
Oh wait, you said the over, Jim?
Yes.
I bet that one as well. Smaller, but I bet that one as well. I got 6 plus 102.
Beautiful. See, that's just shocking to me. You got Jordan Binnington, and it's probably Husso, is it? Schellenberg says, watch out, though Binnington may be in net. Yeah, I had Binnington posted, but Husso's a better goaltender. But if it's Binnington, I mean, I would be nervous having any money on the Blues. But the Blues are going to score, and Carter Hart's not being very good either. So if it's Binnington versus Hart, you have these two weak goaltenders in net. You have St. Louis power play at 26.9%, penalty killing 84.6%, Philly power play 14.4, 76.2, penalty killing, just poor. As you said, Blues coming off their 3rd win in 4 games. Buchnevich, 2 goals for the Blues. He's been very good. Justin Falk has a 6-game point streak from the defense. But the Flyers are just playing better hockey. Second half of back-to-back, they lost their 5th straight. But, man, they've been so close. And I don't know how that's going to affect this group. I mean, it's going to weigh on their shoulders. They've already gone through a 10-game losing streak and a 13-game losing streak. Now they've lost 5 straight when they're playing good hockey. Sammy Comer says Binnington first off the ice this morning. So that's what I want to see.
That means it's probably going to be Binnington, not Husso?
Yeah.
Shit, that's not good then, right? That's not good if you want St. Louis.
No, it's not good. It's not good. And if it is Binnington, maybe I can't do it. I was going to say maybe back to Flyers first period. I can't do it just because I don't know how they're going to handle losing like this. But the over 6 and -105, I legitimately thought that's a mistake by the books, and I bet it as fast as I could.
This does not seem like a huge spot for St. Louis, Jim, just psychologically, just because they recently lost to Montreal, Philly off of an OT loss at home against Carolina.
I don't know, because they're coming off, beating up Toronto on Saturday night. I mean, now it's not a sold out Air Canada Center, so it's not like the way it should feel for these guys. But, and Christopher Carter has Blues and over 5.5 plus 165. The Blues are kind of a tricky team to figure out. They've won 11 of 23 games on the road. They're in a very tough division. They're capable of scoring, but Binnington's looked really bad this year, and Husso will be the guy come playoff time. And if Binnington's in net, I just think the over was the spot here, and I need to put together winning days here, and I'm trying to keep things tight.
So when you have a team like Philly that's been losing, and then they play a strong game as a big
Binnington was just confirmed as we speak.
Right. Okay.
Cool. Sorry, take it away.
when Philly, a team like Philly that's just been losing, then they have a strong home game as a huge dog against a top team, and then they're on a back-to-back again as a home dog the next day. Do you, in general, do you think that this team is probably going to be fatigued because they gave it all last night, or do you think that they're going to be energized because they're finally feeling like, they can play with the elite teams, and they're going to come back out at home again and have another spirited performance and then won't be tired?
I honestly feel, and this is like a psychological question where we don't know the answer really, but I honestly feel that they're going to be fatigued, and the weight of losing these close games will weigh on them when they've had these long losing streaks. So that's my first thought, is that how can, it's tough loss after tough loss when they're playing better hockey. Is Yale going to be able to keep them up? Is Drew going to keep leading them? That's my first thought. But it was great getting Ristolainen and Patrick Brown back, and that did provide a spark. Will it provide another spark? That's the question.
All right, I'll make the over 6 an official play. I'm seeing minus 112 at Pinnacle right now. Probably if you shop around, you find a little bit. I'm sorry?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, over 6 minus 112. I'll make that one an official play. And my notes here, I was actually thinking, maybe the first period. I was thinking about St. Louis first period. Yeah.
I love the over. Excuse me. I think it's, especially now that Binnington's announced. I imagine these books are going to change fast. If you like this over, get in on it now, because when Binnington's announced, they'll move up. I think I'll beat this line by 25 cents at Bet365 when it's said and done. I think it'll be over 6 at minus 130 at least.
And what about the first period over at minus 137? That might be worth a look as well.
I like it. I just got to keep things tight right now.
Right.
I need to cash here. So I like it though. I think that if Philadelphia is going to have legs, it'll be in the first period, not in the third. So I like it.
Yeah, all right. I'll just keep it simple. I won't go nuts either. All right, I'll make it the over an official play, and I'll definitely hold off on St. Louis now that Binnington's in. But I was thinking about the St. Louis team total over. Just a 5-second read on that, and then we'll move on, Jim.
The St. Louis team total over. I mean, how could you not like it? Just the way that they're playing. I get it. Like their offense is buzzing. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I think that their goaltending and defensive liabilities may come back to hurt them. But, I mean, you're talking about a team with Colton Parayko on the ice. So they're a good hockey team in a really tough division who isn't very good on the road. I mean, you got a 29-14-6 record, but they're 11-8-4 at home. And then some great stats. Billy Friedrich is on the Philly team total over 2.5 here at minus 110. Says Flyers 5-0 to the team total over last 5 at home. So. And
Martin Jones is very vulnerable in goal, right?
Well, it looks like Carter Hart's got this eye injury that the group is talking about here in the chat. So if Martin Jones has to play his second game in 2 nights, I mean, how are there not goals scored here?
I'm seeing Martin Jones expected, but not confirmed.
Oh, well, then just expect goals as well, So
so I guess we should wait then.
Well, no,
Carter Hart is a significant upgrade, right?
Is he? I don't know. He's a little bit better.
All right, I'll hold on. I might add on St. Louis team total over, but for now, I'll just go on the over with you, Jim.
Okay, let's roll. Let's
move on.
Great to see Dennis Garcia in the chat. That Flames bet just looks better and better by the minute. Dennis, thank you.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
San Jose, Anaheim. This is an interesting one. Jimmy the Bag, right? Anaheim pounded Vancouver in their last game, right? They put up 7 goals. They lost 3 in a row since the break before that. They kind of changed up their style, intending to have more offense. And a lot of times when teams change up their style like that, it makes them a radically different bet on their totals. Of course, they do tend to start winning for a short period of time, and then they tend to regress afterwards. But I think Anaheim's going to do the same thing again that they did against Vancouver. San Jose is a very beatable team and a team that that bends to the will of other teams right now, especially on the road. They're 0-3 since the break. They were losing heading into the break. I was shocked to see this total so low. I think we're going to see another high-scoring game. So I did bet the over, and I would have a lean to Anaheim as well. and maybe the Anaheim team total over, even though it's 3.5. But definitely the over. And I didn't bet the first period over, but I'd be leaning that way as well. A little bit surprised that the total is so low. Maybe my read on this game is all off because I don't follow teams as closely as you do, Jimmy the Bag. But did Anaheim not change up their style effectively in their last game? And now it's likely they're going to do it again. And it's likely we'll see another high-scoring game with them involved?
There was a time when the California teams I had just such a beat on and was just making money off of them year after year. And I feel that way. I think the Kings are a really good hockey team. I had them at plus 140 on Friday to beat Vegas. They did in overtime. I was fortunate that happened. And I think the Kings are a good hockey team that I want to bet moving forward. These two teams I find more difficult. And the Ducks have been playing without Getzlaf for the last two games, and they had that explosive 7-goal performance against the Canucks. I was hoping that they would struggle again against the Canucks, and then we could bet them here and bet them on this homestand. This is a really interesting homestand that we got to keep an eye on. 6 straight games at home for these Ducks. And I don't, the 24-19 and 9, 13-8 and 4. I mean, this was a team where we have Jimmy Gomez, an LA capper who will be hanging with us in San Antonio. He had them to win the division at plus 150-1, and it looked really feasible for a lot of the year. And then they've fallen off. Also, this is a rivalry game, but these teams haven't seen each other all year, which is so strange to be this deep in the season to have these two division rivals have not played each other. You have Reimer and John Gibson. I mean, if you told me that Reimer and John Gibson would have the same save percentage this year, I'd be shocked. I just think John Gibson's so much better than Reimer, but that's not really been the case this year. San Jose's special teams are good, 18.9% power play. That's been dipping since Erik Karlsson got hurt. And 84.9% penalty killing is pretty strong. And you can imagine with guys like Logan Couture that will happen. Anaheim power play at 25.9%, penalty killing 82.3%. As you said, the Sharks have lost all 3 games since the All-Star break and have lost 6 straight overall. So are they just going to be a team that we can put our foot on the throat of? I don't know if they are. And I fell for the boogeyman trap last time we capped the game. When I broke down, I was with Gokster, and I broke down why I was on the Sharks first period and what Boogie had said in the press. And the cap that I had took money out of Gokster's pocket too. He went on it, and I don't know how many other cappers in the chat went on it, but it really hurt me because I knew that my breakdown had swayed people into betting a losing bet, and it was the first period against the Canucks. And they ended up 3-3 in that game, but they were down 2-0 in the first period. I was completely wrong, and it just keeps happening. So they were last seen losing 4-1 at home to Vegas on Sunday, and Boogie, I also did watch a few of Boogie's fights again. I watched the Craig Berube fight this morning. I don't know why, but he's just such a tough guy, And this is Boogie again. He says, just another first period where we're chasing and we're down 2-0, and there were a couple, I would say, soft kind of goals on us. That's not a recipe for success for our team. And then your leader, Logan Couture, is like, we've got to find a way to score first in games, score more than one, but they're not doing it. So what am I like? I love the psychological aspects of capping. I always have. I kind of lean on them more than I do numbers, but it's not working here with the Sharks. Timo Meier, who's been so good this year with 23 goals, 27 assists, he has 3 points in his last 6 games. They all came in one game. So he has one game where he scored points in the last 6 games, their leading scorer. And Aiden Hill's been dealing with this lower body injury. So Reimer's 1, 4, and 3 over that span. So does that mean that we jump all over the Ducks here? The Ducks scored 9 goals in their 4 games before scoring 7 against the Canucks. And they have no Ryan Getzlaf. I mean, look, if I bet the Ducks here and the Sharks go up 1-0 in the first period, I'm going to throw my computer out the window. I'm going to need to leave the apartment. And that now my own bullshit and my own issues are getting involved as to why I can't make a bet here because I'm going to fucking lose it.
But didn't the Ducks change up their offensive schemes last game? Now, I'm not saying that's going to change their season, but in the short term, it will probably lead to more scoring, and especially against, vulnerable teams, and maybe especially at home, right?
Look, it worked. It needed to be done. I just are the Sharks. The Sharks have Logan Couture. I like him. He's got heart, but do the other players have heart? Does Brent Burns have heart? I mean, I don't know. Are these guys just going to keep losing and losing and losing? Billy Friedrich says, I like the first period over here. See, I understand why the market's moving towards the Ducks, and maybe that at around minus 150 or minus 155, maybe that's a great price for the Ducks on the minus one line. It probably is. It probably is a great price. But a team that's lost 6 straight, that their coach, who's by far the toughest guy in that room, is going off on them for how bad their first period. Now their captain has to step up and say the same thing too. Are they just going to do nothing again? I mean, if they did nothing again, I would just lose it on them. Like, I would just, like, I wouldn't, I don't know how I would handle being the coach of this team, especially if I was the boogeyman. I'd fucking lose it on them.
So this is a game you're saying that San Jose is going to be super pumped and up for.
They have to be. Or they're just a terrible hockey team who we fade nonstop. And the last thing I want to do is I mean, I could see taking the Ducks full game, but I don't know. This is it. Let's do this. The Sharks just lost 4-1 to Vegas. They've been completely annihilated by their captain and by their coach and by their general manager who put this shit hockey team together. So who cares what Doug Wilson has to say? But I don't know what to do with these two teams right now. And
why is the total so relatively low as far as I can tell at first glance?
Well, the Sharks aren't scoring, but I mean, if we took off that 7-4 game, right? I mean, I just said, I mean, Sharks put up 7 against Vancouver. They had 9 goals in their 4 previous games, and the Sharks aren't scoring. So, but let's add to this that Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day is on the Anaheim Ducks. And look, I get it. Shout out to Ron Crawford, who is backing this Duck squad. But I can't. I got to stay off just because I'm gonna I can feel anger like building up in me already. Like I just. Yeah.
Billy Friedrich liking the first period over.
Yeah, look, I get why you guys are on the over. But
all right, Jim, I'll take a shot. I'm seeing 1.5 minus 124. I'll take that one. I might double or triple up on this game, but I'll start with the first period over 1.5 minus 124. That's the current line at Pinnacle. Thinking about the full game over as well. Thinking about Anaheim -1 as well.
I completely understand all those bets. But yeah, I've got to stay off just for my own headspace because I'm going to lose
your own sanity.
Yeah.
All right,
I can just feel like just enormous anger inside me right now. I don't know why.
Anger, really? Yeah. I understand. Losing will do that to you. Yeah, I mean, look, San Jose has been chintzy with the goals for most of their games recently, but they are capable, of putting up a 4 spot here and there. And this does feel like one of the games where they're more likely than not to get up offensively, right?
You would think
like we're going to pull out we're going to step up for our coach by having a strong defensive game. Like we're going to go out, try to get a lead, then the second period try to extend it, right? They're going to get.
I think that's well thought out. That's well thought out. Yeah, I think that what they have to do is be offensive. The Sharks in the first period.
All right, and I'll double up on it. I'm seeing it Heritage right now over 5.5 minus 123. So I'll take the first period over. 1.5 minus 124, full game over 5.5 minus 123. I was leaning Anaheim, but I guess I'll hold off for right now on that one. But I'll take 2 over.
I like it. Billy Friedrich says that first period over 1.5 is minus 118.
There you go.
So saves 6 cents. Earl is on the Ducks minus 1.5 in the first period money line. I think that. What is the Ducks to score goal? Or sorry, the Sharks to score a goal in the first period, and I think I may only bet that if I come in, up money off those 2 totals that I'm betting.
At Pinnacle, I'm seeing minus 134 on that one. Sharks first period goal.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. It's minus 180. Oh no, we're looking at the wrong thing there. Yeah, it's period goal. Shit, I gotta find it here. Let me go to the first period. Sorry, here. Total team total minus 145 here. Yeah, I'm certainly not going to take that kind of juice. I got it. I got to stay off. I'm just gonna fucking lose it.
I'm doubling up on the total here. I understand the low total makes sense for me in light of the two teams makeup and respective makeups and their overall performances in recent games and weeks. But I think based on everything I've heard from you and what I've been reading, the spot sets up for a higher scoring game than what we've seen from them previously. And I'll double up on it. And I did bet.
Yeah, I completely understand the thought process there. By the way, Lamont Williams max parlay is in. It's on the Leafs and the full game over in the Islanders. And then we have Strategic Investments, who we've run with, Pete, since we started working together. And I love the guy. He is saying they're 2-5 against spread in their last 7. But we know they haven't been good until that last game. And I said on the show, I was like, I can't wait to bet them when they come home. And then they score 7 goals against Vancouver, and now I'm hesitant. But
it seems like the reason you're hesitant has actually more to do with San Jose than with Anaheim.
Yes, but both sides, the Ducks feel good about themselves now coming home. Maybe they don't, but maybe that 7 goals was, okay, we're back, we're feeling good. And the Sharks are just, they have to be looking within here saying,
I think the 7 goals was like, we're going to sacrifice goals to score goals and hopefully win that way. And they did it in the first game that they tried it, and now they'll try it again. I don't think they gave up 4 goals as well to Vancouver. So it seems like that's what they're just going to try to do for the short term, sacrifice other teams' goals to try to get more, shots on goals and bodies on the net themselves.
I think, I like where you are at in this hockey game. I'm just at a point where I need to go back to basics and keep a really small amount of games on my card and just start, slowly building back out of this. So I get it. Okay.
Well, I'm doubling up on the over, and I did bet both of those as well.
All right. We got one more NHL game before we break into NCAA basketball. Pete, Islanders Kraken. Take it away.
Islanders, they need a friggin' win here, right? Plus recent revenge from getting shut out at home by the Kraken. Seattle on a back-to-back, lost at Vancouver yesterday, lost 4 in a row against some good teams, but still a very beatable team. So you got Seattle as a home dog against the Islanders, who need a win here, but they're a big road favorite. And the question is just, do they have the personnel and talent to get a win when they need it? And at the percentages, that would make it worth a play as a big road favorite. I don't know. If you gave me a free play on it, I would take a shot with the Islanders, but I'm not going to bet money on it unless I hear anything different from you or read anything in the comments section that changed my mind. Clearly, it's an Islanders spot. They need a win. Are they good enough to get it? I don't know. What's your take, Jim?
I think it's just well put to open that breakdown with the 3-0 win Seattle had. That was shocking. And, Trotz said it was the lowest, it was the worst he'd ever seen his Islanders play. It was the lowest of the lows, but God, they haven't looked right all year. I mean, the fact that they follow up that impressive 4-1 win over the Bruins with the 3-2 shootout loss to the Habs was crazy. I mean, I don't know what to do with this Islanders hockey team. And I think I kind of came at it with a defeatist approach, where I was like, I don't want them. And I actually kind of want the Kraken at home as a dog in certain situations. But it feels like if you focus on how ugly and how bad that loss made them feel, the Islanders have to want to give that back. But their season's over. They're 19 points behind the Bruins. I mean, they could win 10 straight games and still be double-digit points back from the Bruins.
Sure, but not mathematically over.
No, God, no, nothing's mathematically over 45 games in the year. But I mean, it's just they could win 10 straight and still be double-digit points down. There's Jacqueline Martin. Great to see you, Jacqueline. Islanders power play 18.8%, penalty killing 82.7%. How could they be sitting here 18, 20, and 7? I'm beside myself. The Kraken 15.7% power play, 75.4% penalty killing. So New York has allowed the first goal in 11 of their past 12 games. I mean, I don't know how a coach just sits back and handles that. Like this would be, I would be losing it before they went out on the ice. I'd be telling, we're going to cut as many of you as we possibly can if this continues. But you can't really do that anymore in the NHL. I mean, and then we have Billy Friedrich saying Islanders won 6-3 last 10 first period. It's the same situation with the Sharks being so bad in the first period. Am I supposed to sit here and say these men are just going to be little bitches day in and day out in the first period and keep being behind the 8 ball? These professional athletes are just going to, I don't know what to do with it, but Seattle's on the second half of back-to-back. They were outshot 46-27 last night. They are a bad hockey team that's looking worse, and Jaden Schwartz is still out of the lineup. How do you not bet on the New York Islanders here? I don't know. How do you not do it?
Shout out to Jacqueline Martin. Hello, Jacqueline Martin. And Jay Stone says, thanks again, Pete, for last week's birthday pick. Made my day. Long live the birthday picks. Jay Stone, happy birthday to you. Sorry the pick lost. I thought it was a good pick at the time. The birthday picks have been doing well. That one lost. I apologize. Thanks for the comment and the compliment and all and the positivity. Jay Stone 9, and happy birthday to you once again. All right.
Yeah, Jay Stone, great guy. And David Summers, another great guy we haven't seen in a little while, says, Matty Ice now will be driving down together from Dallas next month to meet up in San Antonio. How great is that? I can't wait. David Summers, my guy.
Mr. Gokster 99 in the comment section. Mr. Gokster, we've been breaking this. Oh shit. Hold on. I gotta plug in my computer. Hold on. What's that? Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I think that this has to be an Islanders spot. And we have a question for you, Pete, when you come back from Mark. This has to be the Islanders starting off this road trip and getting revenge. Doesn't it have to be a spot where they get revenge off of that horrific display? It has to be. I have to move on this. I have to move on the Islanders -1. And I'd like to see what I'd be getting here. Islanders -1.
Mr. Gokster, if you wouldn't mind chiming in on the Islanders, just one or two sentences, whether you agree or disagree with the play on the Islanders. Thanks, pal.
And we have a question here from Mark Sports Betting. Says, question, Pete, I notice you make multi-bets on one game pretty frequently. Is it more focused on correlation bets? Is it more of a hedge that if one hits, the other doesn't, you'll be down less?
Well, for the purposes of these shows, it's for the purposes of doubling up. I mean, the way we do it here, we don't use unit size and this and that. But in my personal betting, especially with college basketball, yes, I do that a lot. Of course, I reduce the bet size in both of those bets because if they're heavily correlated, you have to reduce your bet size appropriately. I do that a lot in college basketball. I'll make a bet on like the full game and the first half with an expectation of making a second half bet or maybe a live bet. Although I tend to keep my live bets separate from other bets. But yeah, it spreads around the risk, and I do make two bets that are heavily correlated a lot of the time, and especially in college basketball. But when I do that, I reduce the bet size appropriately. For these shows, though, it's just, since we're doing one unit and it's informal, it's just a matter of, if I like a bet, I'll double up if I like, if I like it enough to go 2 units on it. Yeah.
I have to take the Islanders -1. So I was planning on not adding anything, but just going back to that atrocity that the Islanders displayed. But look, I mean, are we supposed to it's driving me crazy expecting heart from some of these teams and not getting it. It's just driving me fucking bad.
But I mean, now that the Islanders have all their guys back, what kind of a team are they? They're a decent mid-range team, no?
But they've been an elite hockey team the last few years, and they should be better this year. I mean, this whole thing is just, I mean, obviously Anders Lee getting hurt last year and then coming back weaker than we expected. I mean, they signed him for that $6.5 million, and it looked like that was a great contract. The guy looks like the power forward monster of yesteryear. Dennis Garcia says, in the last 7 games, the Islanders lost to Seattle, Buffalo, and Montreal. Time to call them what they are, a bad hockey team.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, they really need a win here, but they needed a friggin' win at Buffalo when they were a -190 road favorite, and they got blown the F out, didn't they?
They needed to win again after beating the Bruins, and they lose in a shootout to the Habs.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Edmonton will forgive that. Calgary will forgive that loss. Buffalo, we're not going to forgive that loss. No. All right, I've talked myself off it. I'm not going to take the Islanders here. I'd take them if they were.
I've talked myself onto it, but okay. God, anytime like Dennis is on the other side of me, especially recently, he's been just, beating me every single time. So it makes me nervous. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Pistol, but our guy, Mr. Gogster, has picked the PGA winner 2 weeks in a row. Our show's already out. Our Monday golf show's already out for the Honda Classic this week. And 55-1, he got on Neiman.
Wow. Mr. Damn, some impressive cappers here. Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, I wish I could follow suit. I think, look, I understand that we are the hosts for this show, and we've always wanted and understood how valuable the chat was and wanted to empower them as much as possible. But now the guests are incredibly successful. Jose Bouquet just breached 20 units, and I feel like I'm holding us back a little bit. And I don't need anything like, oh no, Jimmy, I don't need any of that bullshit. I don't mean some sad ass bullshit here, but I just watching everybody succeed and me not feel like I'm holding up my part, and my part of the bargain is supposed to be NHL. It makes me just like so fucking angry. And
I hear you, but when you're on camera like we are, Jimmy the Bag, it's like, yes, part of what people tune in for is the picks and the analysis, and part of it is just our winning smiles, and that matters. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I don't know what you're saying, man. No, man. And like the fucking pigeons, like it's just, I can't get I'm not able to get my family out of this fucking apartment, and we're trying to get a house, and these pigeons come in. And that's it. And then I'm just filled with rage. I've been filled, and I'm not a guy who's generally filled with rage. Like, I never raise my voice, ever. I yell at Jose. He's the only person in my life that I yell at. All right, I gotta take it.
That's not rage. That's just having a good time. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Nothing wrong with having a good time in life, Jimmy the Bag.
Okay, let's move on to college basketball. Everybody wants to watch me break down college basketball. James says, get it together, Jimmy. I'm sorry, James. This means so much to me, but you're right. Get it together. Let's move on to NCAA basketball. I am going to add the Islanders -1. As you guys know, I'll tweet out my NHL action the night before, and I've been destroying market moves, and it hasn't equated to wins. And I did it again last night, and I'm going to add the New York Islanders, and we'll move on. Let's review Pete's action and my action right now. As you guys know, I got the over 6.5 in the Leafs Jackets game at -115. It's mostly sevens right now. I got the over 6 at -105 in the Blues Flyers game. We have Binnington confirmed. I just sitting back going, how the fuck this shit not cash? And then I'm going to add the Islanders. So, Pete, let's think if you want to add anything to this here. We've stayed off of Predators, Panthers. You're on the Leafs team total over 3.5 at -135. We've stayed off of Wild, Senators. You moved on the over 6 at -112 with me in St. Louis, Philadelphia. And that's also the Puck Bunny play of the day by my guy Mike M. is St. Louis -1. Then Lamont's Max Parlay is Toronto in the over 5.5 in the Islanders Kraken game. And then first period over 1.5 and the over 5.5 in the Sharks Ducks game. And the spreadsheet play today is the Ducks. And I've added the New York Islanders. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I'm just reading this. It's just hitting me right now. Gokster picked a 55-1 winner in the in golf.
Second week in a row, man. He's just rolling that shit up, lighting that shit up.
Is that because he made 30 different picks, or is that the one pick that he made?
I think he made 2 picks for the win. I'm not sure.
Right.
I believe he had one at 55-1 and somebody else at 50-1.
Holy shit. Nice job, Mr. Gokster. Damn. Yeah, we got to step it up, Jimmy Bag. We're like Montreal and the Islanders here. But look what Montreal did recently. So that gives us hope, Jim.
Oh, it's sweet of you to say. Really
yeah, and Lamont Williams says he likes the Islanders full game over. I assume he means the both teams, not the team total over. But yeah, I looked at that. You don't see that's an old school total, Jimmy the Bag. 5.5 hugely juiced to the under. That caught my eye a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get it. And we cashed that Islanders Buffalo over. That was 5.5, and we were shocked at it. Remember, initially I believe it was juiced to the under as well, and it was 6-3 final score. So,
all right, okay. Shout out to everyone, Mr. Gokster, everyone who's doing so great in the comments section. You want to move on to college basketball, Jim?
Yes, let's move on to college basketball, Pete. And you have been good on our show. 29 and 25, 53.7% plus 1.69 units, ROI plus 3.13%, average line minus 110. And the last Tuesday, you lost a stake bet, and then Central Michigan hurt you, but Texas first half was an easy cash here, and Northern Iowa first half, they win outright.
Yeah.
So that was just tough luck there.
It's just college I give the picks on the show, no problem if you track them, but I make so many very small unit bets on college basketball. A lot of times I'll bet with that Northern Iowa game, for example. I also had them full game, and then I had them second half as well. So that's just how college basketball goes. So there's a lot of the picks I give officially on this show. It's just a tiny percentage of the overall picks that I make, and there's a lot of arbitrariness when it comes to the picks that wind up being official on this show. But overall, I'm happy with the results, and I did make a few bets on the overnight lines that I'm willing to share here. We'll see what the comment section has to say, and we're going to go over 5 games that are just interesting, and then we'll go over the rest of the card just sort of in a haphazard manner after those 5 games. Right, Jim?
Yes, absolutely, we will. And I had a rough day. I'm 29 and 29 on the year, down 2.35 units, ROI minus 4.05%. On Friday, I did not have a good day. The Maryland-Nebraska over 146.5 was easy, but just beating myself for not being on Maryland minus 1.5 was clearly the spot. But the rest of Butler plus 7.5 was just disgusting. They lost by 50. Northern Kentucky and Richmond did not look good either. So I'm looking forward to hearing your breakdowns. I will be setting the table for Pistol Pete Loshak and watching him work. And also, Pete, I know we've asked you this before, but we would love it if maybe one night a week, only if this interests you, but to do a quick second half show.
The thing is, not only am I doing second half stuff now, but I'm pretty deep into live betting as well. And I was thinking about that. It would be fun, but 2 things. First of all, the pressure on me would go through the roof, so I'd probably fuck it all up for myself and the picks. And then second of all, it would be a super boring show because I'm looking at the numbers. I'm crunching as much as I can on the fly. I couldn't do it myself because it would just be like dead air for, for 5 minutes in a row. And then I'd shout out, Central Michigan plus 8.5,
I would, if it meant getting a second show of Pistol Pete on Pub Sports Radio, I would be happy to co-host it for you with you.
I could do it.
I'll do it. I'll add. If it means getting more Pistol Pete, I know everybody would say.
All right. Well, we'll think about it and talk about it because I am doing it every day now.
Okay, but I'm telling you, I will do that. Right. Okay. Let's get to work here. NCAA basketball, 7 p.m. Eastern. We start with number 18th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, 21 and 6, 10 and 4 in the SEC at the Florida Gators, 17 and 10, 7 and 7 in the SEC. We're at the O-Dome in Gainesville, Florida. Let's move over to spreads and totals and see what we are dealing with. Pete, there's also that afternoon game, St. Thomas, Minnesota.
Yeah, I didn't look at that one, and I'm probably going to pass on it.
Okay, cool. If you have any leans, though, I'd love to close up the show with that because I know it helps everybody get through their day a little easier. All right, 18th ranked Arkansas here in business. They open up as minus 1 point favorites. Bet365 has flipped it to Florida being the favorite. Sports Interaction is at a pick'em. This total opened up at 136. It's now down to 135 or 134.5, although there still is a 135.5 at Pinnacle. Arkansas bounced back from that tight 1 point loss at Alabama by beating both Missouri and Tennessee by double digits. They've now won 11 of 12 games. In their 58-48 win at home over Tennessee on Saturday, they held the Volunteers to just 27.1% from the field and 16.7% from three. Jalen Williams went for 13 and 16 boards. He's a beast. 4 straight double-double, 9th in his last 13 games, and J.D. Note added 13 points. Arkansas has beaten 3 ranked teams, including then number 1 Auburn last week during its run, and they have cemented an NCAA tournament berth. Florida snapped their 2-game losing streak with a giant 63-62 home win over then number 2 ranked Auburn as 4.5-point dogs. They forced Auburn into 17 turnovers. Appleby goes for 26. Castleton goes for 19. It was the first court storming in Gainesville since a victory against TCU in the NIT in 1986. That's the the highest ranked opponent Florida has ever beaten at home just happened, Pete. Will there be a letdown? But the Gators needed that victory to improve their chances of getting to a fifth straight NCAA tournament. They had lost 2 in a row. Is this a spot where they can't carry on what just happened? Is this a spot where Arkansas is live? Take it away.
Yes, I do think that is the case. The win against Auburn was for real and impressive, and I wouldn't necessarily be looking to fade Florida if they were going up against some team with issues. But Arkansas is an extraordinarily impressive team. Now, I don't know. They're a team that I have circled as possibly making a deep run in the NCAA tournament. I don't know, they are ranked, so I don't know how much under the radar they will be, like Oregon State was, when they made their deep run. But Arkansas is a gritty, tough, mentally strong team. We talk in NHL about teams that don't have heart, that are just not that reliable, and Arkansas is the opposite of that. I did already bet the under on this one. I got 137. Now it's 135. I would still like a play on the under at 135 just a little bit. And I haven't pulled the trigger on Arkansas yet, but this definitely has live betting and second half written all over it. I do think that Arkansas first half is probably worth a look and probably worth a bet. I definitely like the under, and I did take it at 137. Again, not a it's not a lock, just a percentage play. And at 135, I don't necessarily want to make it official, but I wouldn't be opposed to it if I had to. So that's my take on the game. I bet under 137. I would still like it at 135, and has second half and live betting written all over it. And I'm definitely going to be monitoring it very closely and probably making some live bets on it. And I probably, before tip-off, will wind up pulling the trigger on a play on Arkansas first half.
I think that first half look on Arkansas just makes a ton of sense after what Appleby and Castleton did.
And it's just because even if Florida is like, let's not have a letdown, they might get, popped in the face, slammed over the head with a friggin' iron or whatever metaphor you want by Arkansas. This is a tough team. And they're going to be like, this Florida team just beat Auburn. We can't take these guys lightly. They're going to come in and they're going to be, anything can happen. I'll take it. I'll make that official. I'll make Arkansas first half official. What am I seeing here on the money line -110? Or I'm seeing plus a half -119 at Pinnacle. I'll just take the money line -110. Arkansas first half, pick 'em -110. You can make that official. Where is that? Let me see it. Plus a half.
Like that.
-110.
I like that bet.
Yeah,
I like that bet. That makes.
I also do like the under as well, even at -135 or whatever wherever the line is right now.
You can get 135.5 at Pinnacle. It's 134.5 at Circa.
I'll hold off. I still like it, but I'm not gonna make that one official right now. I'll hold off. I'll hold off on that one for now. But yeah, I like the under as well. I like it a lot. I bet it at 137. It's just we're tracking the records here, Jim. So I have to be very careful about what I do. But it's going to be likely be another gritty game. And when Florida gets popped in the mouth or whatever by Arkansas, they're going to get gritty as well. And slightly into the first half under, bigger lean to the full game under.
I like
I'll
that.
make the first half -110 on Arkansas official play.
All right, that is locked in. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, Michigan State Spartans heading into the Big Ten, 18-8, 9-6 in conference at number 25th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes, 18-8, 8-7 Big Ten. Michigan State has fallen out of the rankings. Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, Iowa. Let's see what we are. Oh, and also, what I'll do is I'll pull up the cash because with no NBA, there's going to be a lot of betting on these games, especially the 5 that we're talking about before we do your edition. So I will pull that up here after I hand it over to you. Let's talk about this spot here. This total opened up at 153.5 at Pinnacle. It hasn't moved. Iowa opened up at -7 at +101 at Pinnacle. They're now -6, -108. 6 is right across the board. The Spartans are on a bad run. They've lost 2 straight and 4 or 5, coming off a 79-74 loss home to Illinois on Saturday. That loss knocked them out of the top 25. Tyson Walker scored a season high 26. AJ Hoggard had 15. Iowa bounced back from their 84-79 loss at home to Michigan by winning at Ohio State 75-62 on Saturday as 5-point dogs. Keegan Murray went for 24. Iowa only turned the ball over 8 times, 20 offensive boards against Ohio State. They out-rebound them 40-31. They get 18 second chance points off of those 20 offensive boards. Take it away here, Pete. Michigan State, Iowa.
This is a very interesting one, right? Tom Izzo, I talk about him all the time in my videos. Everyone talks about him. Great coach, especially late in the year. Tends to get the best out of his players. Tends to make turnarounds when his team is struggling. This Michigan State team, though, is a little bit different. Statistically, I don't really like him, I significantly don't like them. And listening to Izzo's words, maybe he's playing his cards very close to the vest, but he doesn't seem too confident about a turnaround from them, or seem to have a plan for what he's going to do differently here. I do think that it's a lot of points though, and you're buying Michigan State low, but my sense is that statistically Michigan State is likely to fall even further. I don't necessarily like Iowa here giving all these points. I do kind of like the Iowa team total over though. Michigan State is, they struggle in their half court offense. They're much better in transition. My sense is that they're going to run with Iowa. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to keep up with Iowa if they do that, but that's probably going to be what the plan is. I'm not sure what Izzo's going to do for this game, but I don't know what he's got cooking. And so I don't really want to bet against him here. But I do kind of like the Iowa team total over, which should be about 80.5 or something like that. You've got some really bad statistics, predictive statistics on Michigan State side. Then on the other hand, you have Izzo and a legit quality program getting a bunch of points in a buy low situation. So those things are kind of opposites. Like, I don't really want to touch the spread here. Lean to the over, and a bigger lean to the Iowa team total over, which is down a little bit. 79.5 minus 105. I was thinking like it would be 80 or 80.5. I haven't bet this one yet, but I kind of like the Iowa team total over. Yeah, I'm seeing 80 at Heritage, but 79.5 minus 105 at Pinnacle, 106 now. I'd be willing to make that one official. I want to see what people have to say about that. Anyone in the comments
There's
section?
A ton of stuff coming in.
Yeah.
Sorry, just answering.
Be very careful about their Michigan State's 3-point shooting splits at both ends are pretty unsustainable, at least on paper. Again, Izzo has been a magic maker at times in his career. Not all the time though. Not sure what he's going to do with this season, but the stats are a little bit scary when looking at Michigan State right now. I think their offense is going to cool off at some point, and if it does, there'll be a further fall from Michigan State, unless Izzo has some tricks in his bag that he pulls out, and that doesn't happen, which would not be a shock at all. In this game, though, I think that the best bet is an Iowa offensive game, and Iowa team total over. I do like.
Arthur's on the other side. He's on the Iowa team total under.
Really?
Dennis Garcia at the Sparty Party money line says never any need to cap. Just listen to you guys. Me value capper. Pete says buy low spot like 3 times.
Yeah.
Then we have that was from Dennis Garcia.
Yeah.
Then we have Billy Friedrich saying Iowa and the over, Michigan State and the under are correlated here. No?
And Zoe Face says Tom Izzo is 67. Fade the boomer. Yeah, I mean, I think he still got it. Not sure though.
Eric Jones on Iowa -6 and the over 153. And Arthur says this is Michigan State's season tonight. So this is the most bet on game of every college game out there at this point. 9,419 tickets in. 59% of the tickets are on Michigan State, and 85% of the cash is on Michigan State. So big bets have come in on Michigan State. It's gone from 7 to 6. From a total perspective, 71% of the tickets on the over and 92% of cash on the over. So there's an expectation that points will be scored. Eric Jones likes that team total over. And T-Mac says Michigan's going to play defense and rebound. THC's Rizzo says can't lay money with State right now, but at +6, it's tempting.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna, and again, you never know what the game plans will be here. I guess I'll hold off on this one. It's just Michigan State's raw stats are not good. Scary, significantly scary.
Well, also, I didn't talk about the cash in Arkansas, Florida. I should be talking about all of these spots because there is so much money going to be bet on college basketball today. So 7,527 tickets in on Arkansas, Florida. 68, it just moved to 68 from 69. 68% of the tickets are on Arkansas. 77% of the cash is on Arkansas. Then another spot towards the over. 69% of the tickets on the over and 84% of cash on the over. We have Pete, who's moved on Arkansas first half money line at -110, and we have a stay off spot, Michigan State Spartans at Iowa Hawkeyes. But I tell you what, listening to the breakdown, it made me think that Michigan State can keep this close, especially with Iowa coming off that huge win at Ohio State, feeling so good about themselves, and Michigan State knowing that their season is on the line, exactly like what Arthur Meade Jr. said. And seeing the big bets on Michigan State makes me think that they can cover 6.
Yeah, and Arthur Meade says, Pete, you can always live bet the team total, and this game definitely has live betting and probably second half written all over it as well.
All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 8 p.m. Eastern. Number 8 ranked Villanova Wildcats, 21-6, 14-3 in the Big East. At number 21 ranked UConn Huskies, 19-7, 10-5 in the Big East. We're at XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Let's see what we are dealing with here in this spot. Villanova, UConn. Let me pull this up. Sorry, 8 p.m. There it is. This total opened up. Whoa. Can I really believe this? It says it opened up at 147.5 and it's down 9 points. I don't know if that's factual here, but that's what it says. It can't be. It can't be because it's one. I think it opened up at 137. Okay, yes, it's a mistake. This one must have been a game that's was scheduled that was postponed, right? This game was supposed to be played. Okay, so I can understand what they're saying now. This total opened up at 5:41 p.m. at 137, and initially went down to 135, but then got bet up and is now at 138 here. And from a spread standpoint, we have -2 and -2.5 on the board for 21 ranked UConn. When we go into the cash flow here, we have, what the hell is, there we go, 8,599 tickets in. Only 41% of the tickets on Nova, but 75% of the cash.
Really?
Then we have, very interesting. 42% of the tickets on the over and 75% of the cash on the over. Billy Friedrich says Gillespie's questionable, right? And now we have Michael Buona saying that Gillespie is out. We need confirmation on Connor Gillespie. Villanova's rolling. They're coming off their 5th straight win on Saturday, 74-66 at home over Georgetown. Is 19.5 point favorites. They did not look good in the first half, even though they had a significant lead. Justin Moore scored 15 of his 19 in the second half. Slater added 11. Daniels and Dixon each had 10. And Gillespie only scored 9 points. THC's Rizza said Gillespie will go. I had that Gillespie would go as well, but please jump in if this is not the case. UConn comes in off its 3rd straight win, 72-61 at home versus Xavier, as 7-point favorites. RJ Cole and Tyler Pauly each scored 16 points. Sinogo had 15 and 9 boards. Senior Tyrese Martin had 11 boards as well. And Akuk missed his 6th straight game with a foot injury, but he's very close to going. He went through warm-ups on Saturday, so maybe Akuk will be in. Take it away here, Pistol Pete, Wildcats, Huskies.
All right. Maybe I made a mistake here, but I bet it, and I'm going to ride with it, and I guess I'll make it official because if I bet it, I'm going to make it official. I did take UConn here. Got them at -2. I know that Villanova is an awesome team, and of course, last week I lost going head-to-head with Jose taking Providence. Providence was very exploitable matchups-wise against Villanova, but it was just such a big home dog line. And then I did actually take Providence on the second half, which I tweeted out, and that one cashed. So, I'm not like even though this will be the second week in a row that I'm that I'm fading Villanova. I'm not anti-Villanova. They're an impressive, incredible, legitimately awesome team. But UConn is constructed in a way that should be able to handle Villanova better than Providence is. And of course, they already played once, and Villanova won. So there's UConn should definitely be up for this game and be looking to get revenge and boost their postseason profile. And the Huskies are just they're kind of better at guarding ball screens and what Villanova tries to do than Providence is. And UConn is a little bit of an inconsistent, unreliable top team. They sometimes inexplicably disappear offensively. So I can there's reasons to be wary of betting UConn against the top team, but I think more likely than not they get it done here. And I did take a shot with a pretty healthy shot actually with UConn -2. I'm willing to make that official. The line hasn't moved since I bet it. I'm sure there's a lot of comments coming in, some agreeing with me, some saying no, Pete, Nova rolls again. But UConn doesn't allow a lot of open threes, and I think they'll be able to clamp down on Villanova from the outside. Obviously, Gillespie being a little bit banged up helps, or hurts Villanova. Makes me a little bit nervous to bet against Villanova for a second week in a row. This game also has second half and live betting written all over it. But I bet UConn -2, and I'll make that official here as well. -2, -110. Standard play.
All right, that is locked in. And Billy Friedrich did find you a -108 at
Nice. I'll take it. Thank you, Billy Friedrich. Now I'm going to scan the comments to see what Northender says. This line is fishy. Why would you say that, North? Just because Nova is so awesome and they're a dog? The line pretty much makes sense to me. It doesn't seem particularly fishy to me.
And Sammy Culmer asking about the tickets information again. 41% of the tickets on Nova, 75% of the cash. Then 42% of tickets on the over and 75% of cash on that over. THC's Rizza says Sonogo should eat in the middle, but Nova always shows up late in the season. Gillespie is a great leader. I trust them more in a close game. Arthur Meade Jr. saying UConn is a spot, especially first half.
And Sonogo, had some foul trouble in the last game, didn't have a good game when they played, and I think that was an anomaly, not necessarily likely to happen again. Nova's awesome, but I took a shot with UConn here, and I'll make it official. Michael Buelna says, just take Nova. They've owned UConn over the years. Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, they're certainly a much more reliable team long-term than UConn, no doubt about that.
Dan Kelly says, Pete, don't forget George Washington's birthday pick today. Says if it weren't for him, we'd be just like Canada. That's what he says. So, George Washington's birthday pick today.
Shout out to Dan Kelly.
Billy Friedrich, absolutely there is more public money on these NCAA and NHL games because there's no NBA or NFL until Thursday. Absolutely. Definitely. All right, so Pete is locked in with his second spot on the board, that being UConn -2 at -108. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. San Diego State Aztecs 17-6, 9-3 in Mountain West at Boise State Broncos 21-6, 12-2 in the Mountain West. We're at Extra Mile Arena in Boise, Idaho. And these two teams faced each other in a football score, 42-37 win at San Diego State on January 23rd, when the Aztecs were held to 28.1% shooting. And let's see what the odds have done here in the rematch. We have the total opening up at, or the total sitting, I don't know the opener, some of these opening lines are a little messed up. It's at 120 and a half or 119 and a half. And we have -2s across the board for Boise State. Then when we go over to the cash flow situation here, just 3,202 tickets in, 35% of the tickets on the Aztecs, 55% of the cash. Then we have 48% of the tickets on the over and 91% of the cash on the over. Very interesting. I know, Danny. We it's all good, but you're allowed. Oh, and spreadsheet basketball play of the day from our Ron Crawford is San Diego State. San Diego State is the spreadsheet play of the day. They are looking for revenge here. So let's break this down a little further and then hand it over to Pistol Pete Loshak. San Diego State comes in off their fifth straight win, a 61-44 beat down to Fresno State. And they were just 2.5-point favorites. Fourth straight win by double digits. Chad Baker went for a season-high 20. Kashad Johnson, 13. Trey Pulliam had 8 assists. They held Fresno State to a season-low 20 first-half points. Boise State bounced back from their 77-74 overtime loss at home versus Colorado State. Both teams have lost to Colorado State by winning at Air Force and at home to Utah State, both by double digits. In their 68-57 win over the Aggies on Saturday's 3.5-point favorites, Marcus Shaver went for 20 and Abu Kigab went for 17. Take it away here, Pete. Aztecs Broncos.
This was I sent you this game, Jim, just because it's very interesting. And again, this one has live betting and second half written all over it. And if Ron Crawford loves San Diego State, I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. I didn't bet it. Interestingly, the total has gotten bet up a little bit from 120 to 121. I'm seeing right now. We'll see where it closes, but I'm expecting another grinded out, very low scoring game. I didn't bet the under on this one though, and I don't think I'm going to. I'm just gonna, either pass on it or do, live betting and look for something in the second half. If you gave me a free bet, I guess sure I would take San Diego State +2 as a to get some revenge. But Boise State is constructed to definitely handle San Diego State strength against strength. So I'm definitely not going to bet San Diego State. It's a pass for me, but I'm definitely going to be looking at it for second half bets and possible live bets. But it's a pass for me, expecting another tight, low scoring game. And that's just about it. Very interesting game. Should be fun to watch and monitor as it goes on. But from a handicapping perspective, it looks pretty straightforward.
Respect, Lamont. Thank you for rolling with us. Sammy Culmer also on the San Diego State Aztecs, who've been playing very good ball of late. So San Diego State outright. And Razor Sharp Pick says, in exactly 31 days, I'll be in San Antonio with the squad. Let's go. I'm so excited. So thankful. I'm more thankful. Just thankful to have this opportunity to hang with everyone. Okay, so there is the fourth game. So we're going to break down one more.
Sorry, a little bit more. It's just that San Diego State has an elite defense. Boise State's defense is elite as well, but not nearly as elite as San Diego State. But San Diego State is significantly more limited offensively than Boise. So those are just the issues.
No, it is a fascinating game, especially coming off a 79 points combined in their last meeting. So we're going to break down the next spot in totality, and then we're going to go over what Pete's additions are and what he moved on in the overnight market. So let's go. 9 p.m. Eastern, number 24 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide 17-10, 7-7 in the SEC at the Vanderbilt Commodores 14-12, 6-8 in the SEC. We're in Nashville for this one. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with here. We have Alabama 4-point favorites. Couple books are 4.5-point favorites, and this total is sitting at 153, 153.5, or 154, depending on where you shop. When we take a look at where the cash is on this, 5,825 tickets in. 39% of the tickets are on Vandy, but 80% of the cash at this point. So big bets coming in on Vandy. 77% of tickets on the over. We don't know the cash numbers at this point. Alabama had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 90-81 loss at Kentucky on Saturday as 6-point dogs. Kentucky was missing 2 very important guards. It didn't matter. They allowed Kentucky to shoot 53.2% from the field and 64.3% from 3. Keon Ellis went for 28. Shackelford went for 18. Vanderbilt snapped their 2-game losing streak with a big 72-67 win at home over Texas A&M on Saturday as 4-point favorites. Scotty Pippen Jr. went for 24. Jordan Wright, 15. Liam Robinson added 14. Vanderbilt was just 4 for 19 from 3 and still won the game. Take it away here, Pete. Crimson Tide versus the Commodores.
All right, this is a very interesting one. Alabama in general, you see this in college basketball every year, a lot of times with multiple teams. Alabama lives and dies by the 3, right? So when they're hitting, they score 100 points and can beat anyone in the country, which Alabama has done. They beat Gonzaga. And when they're not hitting, the games can be low scoring and they can lose to some low tier MAC team. And you're like, who the hell is this team? So that's what Alabama is. They shoot a ton of threes. They don't have necessarily particularly high percentage on their three-pointers. They just shoot a lot of them. And Vandy's kind of the same way. Difference is Vandy is pretty good at defending the three. My sense on this game was I would be leaning Vanderbilt and also leaning under. I know the total's gotten bet up, but you got to think that after what happened against Kentucky, Alabama's going to come in and try to be better defensively. Again, Vandy takes a lot of threes. They don't necessarily hit them. They don't hit their free throws either, which is bad. Although they do, so they're getting a bunch of points at home. But it's so stressful to know that you're betting on a team that has trouble with free throws, especially in a game that's supposed to be tight, which this one should be. So my leans are Vanderbilt and the under, and I think I like the under a little bit more. Again, if Alabama comes in and shoots 55% from three, the game could easily be 100-90, and then you're like, I thought you said the under was a good bet. I don't know. Alabama does sometimes play lower scoring games, and I think it's more likely than not that this is going to be one of them. I can understand why the total has, as of now, gotten bet up since the opener. We'll see where it closes. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets bet back down, but I like the under a little bit, not confidently, but a little bit, and Vanderbilt a little bit, not confidently, but a little bit.
Wild breakdown, and a lot of people interested in backing Vandy here. A lot of people interested in backing Vandy, except for Billy Friedrich. Says he's selling points up to -6 on Bama. Wants Bama at plus money.
I wonder why. Yeah, I don't necessarily. Vanderbilt is a very questionable team in general. But yeah, again, Alabama has issues on the road. Their three-point percentage is worse on the road than it is at home. And again, Vandy defends the three particularly well, which is a very nice positive. You're thinking, how, if a team isn't that strong offensively and they can't hit free throws, and how do they win any games? The one thing they do well is defending the three, which should match up well with what Alabama tries to do. So I kind of like the under here, even though the line's gotten bet up.
Dabby Cab is on Alabama first half -1.5. He's also on Arkansas -0.5 in the first half. And there you have it. So of the official picks on these 5 marquee games, we have Pete with Dabby Cab on the first half money line on Arkansas. We have him also on UConn -2 at -108. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is on San Diego State against Boise, but he's backing San Diego State. And at this point, for me, I'm going to be moving on Arkansas first half, and I'm also going to be moving on the Spartans plus the points. I think this is a spot where, and look, I can easily be wrong, but I think this is a spot where Iowa played exceptional, clean basketball against Ohio State. They only turned the ball over 8 times. They had this big win. They feel very good about themselves. Going up against a Michigan State squad that's clearly questionable with great coaching that has to win here. The season is on the line. So I think they keep it close. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, and then Chris G says, do I take North Dakota money line in 10 minutes? We have a game that's popping off in 10 minutes. Pete, I know you stayed off this game here.
Yeah.
St. Thomas of Minnesota. North Dakota opening up as 1-point favorites. They're now 2-point favorites at Pinnacle, and this total's dropped from 149.5 to 146.5. Was there anything at all that interests you, or do you want to move? And by the way, Billy Friedrich likes North Dakota early in this game. Is there anything that interests you at all, or do you want to just bypass it right away and move on to your...
No, my first thought was that I would be liking North Dakota, but the line did appear to be a little bit fishy. So I wanted to do more research, and I didn't do more research on it. So my first thought was why would North Dakota be this tiny of a favorite against St. Thomas? They already beat them once this year on the road, and St. Thomas is kind of like been losing game in and game out ATS for 2 months or however long it's been. They started off the year great, and I was betting on them a bunch of times in the beginning of the year. But over the past 8 weeks or whatever, it's been a disaster. So I didn't understand the line at all, and I haven't bet it, and I stayed off it.
All right, well, let's go to the spots that you did attack on the overnight or any additions that you might want to make, and let's figure out if any of these you want to make official. Take it away.
All right. Well, I did bet Buffalo and Miami of Ohio, kind of a no-brainer play. I got 155.5. Let's see where that is right now. Buffalo, Miami, Ohio. I did bet that one. Yeah, now it's up to 156. Might make that official, and I'd be leaning first half over on that one as well. Definitely bet that one and would still like it. I did take a shot with let's see.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I still can get you that 155.5 at Circa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll think about it. I did take a shot with Northern Illinois +3. Northern Illinois. Let me hold on one second.
Northern Illinois still +3 here at Circa.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me just find my notes. Hold on one second. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an obvious play here. Northern Illinois, 3 straight covers. They've been playing really well against the spread on the road, clearly undervalued on the road. And Eastern Michigan, not a good ATS team in general. And I ran the numbers, looked at them a few different ways, and Northern Illinois seemed to be a good play in all ways. So I did bet that one. The line does seem a little bit fishy to me. Let's see where it's moved. I did bet that one. I took them at 3, and I think it hasn't moved since then.
Still at 3 at both Pinnacle and Circa. It is juiced to -111 though at Pinnacle. Definitely
another game that has live betting and second half written all over it. But I did take that one. I took Northern Illinois. I took the over in the Buffalo game. Let me see. Let me remind myself. What else did I take? And I'll tell you what my leans are. Let's see. What else did I take? The George Washington game is interesting. The line has moved in Richmond's favor, despite the fact that that George Washington has been an ATS machine the past 10 games or so, and now they're at home getting a big number, and Richmond's off a pretty bad loss. So my thought was at classic situation where the line doesn't make sense to you at first glance, and then the movement makes even less sense. So that tells you there's really something that at least that someone else is seeing that you're not factoring in, if it's not something that they know that you don't know. So I guess I'd still be leaning George Washington at +7 now, but I want to look into it a little bit more before I made that one official. But definitely leaning that way. George Washington getting all those points at home, and let me see what else. Yeah, then some other leans. Leaning Pitt, getting 4 points against Miami. Miami has an excellent starting 5, but they're not very deep, and Pitt has been terrible for most of the year, but recently made a turnaround. You see this a lot in college basketball. Teams make mid or late February turnarounds, not necessarily, to make the tournament, but a team that was awful suddenly becomes, a little bit better, a little bit less awful. And that's clearly what's happened with Pittsburgh. And so I think that, I did bet that one, and I'm, an inch away from making that official. That also has second half and live betting written all over it. If Pitt is down significantly at the half or down significantly early in the first half, I will probably make a live bet on Pitt or a second half bet on Pitt in those situations. Again, the under in Alabama Vanderbilt, leaning that way. Let me see if there's any other games that people are asking about. You can shout them out. Northern Illinois, George Washington. The Missouri-Tennessee game is very interesting. Missouri is awful. I had some losses with Missouri in their last game. I thought they were going to be better offensively, and they weren't. This is a tough spot. Tennessee is a tough team, but it should be a very low-scoring game. Missouri should be a little bit, they're tired, they're worn out, but they're getting a ton of points at home in what should be a low-scoring game. So I just think that's interesting. Lean Missouri, but I didn't bet that one. And
Pete, we have a question in from the chat. That spot where you're interested in Northern Illinois. Ryan Kozlowski says, any feel on the over in that spot?
No, I don't.
138.
Yeah, I have no notes on the total as of right now. I might look into that a little bit more and maybe think about taking either the Northern Illinois team total or the Eastern Michigan under. But as of right now, no. I just bet the Northern Illinois line. I actually got 3.5 because it went to 3.5 for a minute, and I grabbed it at that line. Now it's back to 3. Again, live betting in second half written all over it. No opinion on the total as of right now with my notes. And yeah, yeah. I have a bunch of leans that I feel nervous about, like under in Charleston and Northeastern. Charleston tends to be a higher scoring team, but they're starting a tough road trip right now, and their leading scorer is out for this one. Northeastern, a terrible team, so I think it's going to be a relatively modest scoring game. Lean under in Charleston, Northeastern. Let's see what else. Yeah, slightly in Missouri plus 10.5. I guess. Go ahead.
After sorry to interrupt, but after Dartmouth shot the lights out against Cornell, and it was just astonishing. They were just after looking so awful, they turned around and looked so good. Yale's moved from -2 to -3. Do you agree with that market movement? Do you think that Dartmouth, reverts back to the mean here and is just average?
Very tough, very tough. Yale is significantly better stats wise, but at this point in the season, Dartmouth, they're one of these teams like St. Peter's. They rotate, 8 or 10 guys, way more than Yale. And so, it's and Dartmouth is still playing for a lot here. So, that's a very big pass for me. And if you gave me a free play, I'd probably throw it on Dartmouth, but definitely I'm not going to bet that game. Although, once again, live betting in second half, written all over it. But pregame, no, it's a pass. Yale, way better statistically. But team makeup and the spot and the point in the season makes me nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've given out a whole bunch of leans. Do you want to add a couple more leans and then decide what you want to make official? And no pressure at this point. Yeah. It is George Washington's birthday, though.
I don't know. And and also a slight lean to Kansas State and the under in that one. So maybe a slight lean to the Kansas team total under as well. Kansas hung pretty tight with Kansas State hung tight with Kansas already one year. Obviously, this year, obviously, it's a big rivalry. Kansas will get up for it, but not necessarily looking to lay down the hammer. So, lean to Kansas State, lean to the under, and a bigger lean to the Kansas team total under. I might bet that one, but not yet. Again, lean to Pittsburgh. Also a lean to the under on that one, and so a lean to the Miami team total under. UConn, I'm on. Arkansas, Florida. Arkansas first half, and I definitely bet the under in that one at 137. Michigan State, Iowa, still leaning Iowa team total over at 79.5. Buffalo, Miami. Yeah, I guess I got to put that one on there. Let's see what the first half is. All right, you can throw on Buffalo, Miami over. Jimmy the Bag. What do you have there?
I got 155. It's the best line I can find. I found that at circa. Did you also want to look at the first half?
Yeah, I'm going to look at it right. What 155.5 or 155?
155.5 at -110 was the best I could find.
Okay,
the first half is 73.5.
Yeah, 73.5. I guess I'll hold off on that one. I won't double up. I'll just make it a 1-unit play here for our purposes of our official record keeping and take the over at 155.5. That was kind of a no-brainer play for me. Don't overthink it, so why not add it on officially? Let me see. Central Michigan and Ohio. I did take a shot with the over. I understand why the total has gotten bet down, but Ohio coming off a bad loss to Kent State, and I'm thinking that it's a bigger offensive game than normal for Ohio. So lean to the over on that one. Although I don't necessarily want to make it official here. Northern Illinois, I did bet that one. I probably should make it official, but I won't. George Washington, leaning George Washington +7, but not sure why the line is where it is and why it's gotten bet up. And again, leaning under in Charleston, Northeastern. And that's about it. That's the entire card for me, Jim.
All right. There's Rayhan in the house. Rayhan, by the way, how do we get in touch with you? Do you have a Twitter handle? Because we're going to be in San Antonio in less than I would be there in 30 days. We'd love to be able to get you involved. We got a big Twitter group and stuff like that. So let's review official action from Pistol Pete. Loshak, 29 and 25 here on the show. He's moved on Arkansas first half money line at -110. I'm going to tail that. He's moved on UConn -2 at -108. And he has moved on Buffalo, Miami of Ohio over 155.5 at -110. Those are your official plays, my man. Is there you come from okay, whole lot of leans. There we go. I am going to move on that Arkansas first half, and then I am going to move on Michigan State +6. Billy Friedrich says my biggest totals bet of the day will be Bakersfield, Cal Poly over 126.5. These two teams are 9-1 to the over of that total in their last 5 combined right now. So there it is. By the way, Andrew Carr says Yale's D will snuff the mean Big Green. EJ Jarvis also says that. And Billy Friedrich's also on the Cal State Bakersfield -1.5 there late. S. Grano says Vanderbilt has conceded 78 or fewer points in 20 of its last 21 night games. So he's on that team total under 78.5
for Alabama.
For Bama.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm leaning Vanderbilt, leaning under for sure. And again, it's because Vandy is just one of their strengths is defending the 3, and that's what Alabama does. And after the Kentucky game, Alabama. You know what? We can throw that one on there. We can throw the under. Why not? Why not? Why not? Let's change that from a lean to an official play. Alabama, Vandy under. Let's see what I'm seeing right now. Jimmy the Bag. I'm seeing. Where have I got so many games? Even though there's only 28. Alabama, Vandy. Where is it? Where the fuck is that game?
Let's see what I can get you here. I have a 153 here at Circa. Let's see what we have at Pinnacle.
153.5. Pinnacle -111.
All right, let's just see FanDuel, and then we can put a bow on this portion of the show. Alabama, Vandy, 153 there too. So 153.5 at -111.
Yeah, at Pinnacle, I'll take that.
153.5 at -111, and there you have it. By the way, Crystal Warren loving that spot that Billy Friedrich's on the Bakersfield Cal Poly over. So there you go. All right, let's review all action. Zoe Faye says Pistol Pete going to Pound Town today. So I like the volume.
Yeah, if I was going to throw on all the leans, it would be the Northeastern under. That would be a lean. It would be George Washington +7. That would be a lean. Northern Illinois +3. That would be a lean. Iowa team total over 79.5. That would be a lean. And Pittsburgh +4. That would be a lean, and maybe a double up with Miami team total under. And Kansas team total under. That would be a lean as well.
All right, let's review all action from us and some of the action from the cappers in the chat. We'll go with NHL first. Let's start with Slatsy. Slatsy's on the Wild in regulation and the team total over 3.5. He's on the Blues in regulation and the team total over 3.5. Preds, Panthers, both teams to score in the first period at +145. And Ducks, first period -0.5 at +157. My guy, Robert Cherry, says is now officer of 50. Ayash Allah says he is on the Wild moneyline, Blues -1, Columbus +1.5, Anaheim moneyline, Florida -1, New York Islanders moneyline. It's from Robert Cherry. My bets, I was trying not to add anything because I knew I was going to smash the market moves in my 2 bets, and I thought just stick to that. But I will add one bet. I last night, and I tweeted out, and I was certain that these lines were a mistake. I took the over 6.5 at -115 in the Leafs Jackets game. That's now 7, and even going over the 7 is just +100 at Bet365. Then I took the over 6 in the Flyers Blues game. I got -105. Pete got +102. Was just beside myself that they would give us the opportunity to bet that with, as Pete took it no vig and me with very minimal vig. Now I'm adding the Islanders -1, which may be much to my chagrin. Pete is on the Leafs team total over 3.5 at -135. He's on the over 6 at -112 in Blues Philly. And he's doubled up on totals in the Sharks Ducks game. He's on the first period over 1.5 at -118 and the full game over 5.5 at -123. And the spreadsheet play of the day is on the Anaheim Ducks. The community and new knowledge on a 5-0 run with the Cash Me Out pick of the day is, and 13-5 overall, is on Nashville, Florida, under 6.5 at +115. Wow. That is so exciting. under 6.5 at plus 115. God, I love those under 6.5 at plus money, and it has not been very successful for me so far. Cashman is on the Isles -1, Wild -1, Leafs team total over 3.5, and the Blues -1. Let me copy and paste Cashman's action right there and put it here so I can peruse it as I spend the rest of the day and night on sports. Okay, so let's move over to NCAA basketball. We kind of just went over it, but just a review. Pete's on the Arkansas first half money line. He is on UConn -2 at -108. He's on Alabama Vandy under 153.5 at -111, and Buffalo Miami over at 155.5 at -110. THC is RZA is on Buffalo -5 and Bonaventure first half -4.5. Strategic Investments is also with you on the Miami Ohio over 156. And Dabby Cabs is on Arkansas -0.5 first half, Alabama -1.5 first half, and Miami -3.5 full game. And there you have it.
One thing interesting, Jimmy the Bag, the St. Louis opened as like a -190 or -200 fave, got bet up to -225. Now Binnington has been confirmed for St. Louis. Market doesn't care. Still -230 or whatever for St. Louis. Market doesn't care.
Did the total move at all?
Maybe someone will bet later, but St. Louis.
Didn't move at mine. Wow. I had expected
the total in the St. Louis game.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, no,
when I gave it officially, it was 6 -112.
Yeah.
Now it's 6 -125 at Pinnacle, bumped up to 6.5 actually.
Yeah, 6.5. So I beat both of those totals that I tweeted out last night by a half goal.
But the market isn't like, well, now we're going to bet Philly. They're like, we're just going to bet the over, but we're not betting Philly. Interesting, right?
Well, I think the way you broke it down psychologically, and you posed that question to me about what do I lean towards the feeling in the room for the Flyers, I think that the weight of losing is going to be kind of heavy because they were in these games against really strong opposition. I had the Flyers first period against the Penguins, and Drew opened the scoring with 6 minutes left in the first. Of course, they lose the first period 2-1 and then lose in overtime. It's been just so frustrating. All right.
Just wanted to point that out to you, Jim.
Well, I love it. It gives me some confidence. And I just have to win every week. If I win every week in NHL, back in the black by the time we hit the playoffs. Pete, it is a pleasure working with you. We miss you. I'm being straight up about that second half show in college basketball because we only have a few weeks left. So it's not like this would be a show. I mean, we do this show for like a month or so, and then that'd be it. So think about it, and no pressure, but we just want more of you badly.
I'm pressuring you, Pete. I'll pressure you. I'll be the pressure guy. Do it, Pete. Do it. I'm the devil on your shoulder.
I've talked about that AIPP, all in on public play syndrome, which is a term that I coined, and I'm also the first person to ever have known to suffer from it. It's just, when I'm sitting there doing the live betting, I of course I don't want to lose my own money, but if I do, it's fine or whatever. But doing it publicly is just such a whole other level. I'm making a lot of on the fly decisions and stuff, and it's it would be fun, but also incredibly stressful. We'll talk about it. We'll think about it. We'll talk about it. We'll think about it.
We'll talk about it. The Leafs in.
Could I get more description on AIPP? I'd love to hear more about it.
All in on public plays. It's a syndrome where obviously, going all in, you don't want to bet your entire bankroll and your house and your mortgage and everything on one sports betting bet. Everyone knows that, right? But some people have a syndrome where if they give a play publicly, they feel as though they have done that, even though they haven't. All they've done is just told the public that that's a bet that they're on. All in on public plays syndrome, AIPP. I coined it. I have it. I suffer from it. I deal with it. I'm getting treated for it. But a lot of, and I'm also my own doctor when it comes to it. And what I tell myself is, don't make any public plays, and then you won't suffer from it. So it's tough. I'm working with my doctor on it, who is me. And but it's true. It's every time if I make a bet on my own and it loses, it's fine. I don't care, whatever. But it's just like if I give a play publicly, I experience it as though I'm all in.
Dan Kelly also suffers from it.
Yes.
And I get it. I get it.
It's actually, people are going to come out of the woodwork talk. I guarantee you that, like, Bobano is going to say, Peter, I can't do a Bobano impression. He's going to say, I have suffered that from that in silence myself for the past 5 years of my life, and you have given me permission to voice it publicly now. I guarantee you there's going to be people coming out of the woodwork admitting that they have suffered from it for years, quietly.
Well, let's close with a couple images here to put a bow on this. Here is the first capper to breach 20 units in betting with the bag. That guy right there is the first capper to breach 20 units. Also, the Toronto Maple Leafs in play tonight. What are we going to get? What are we going to get from Bill Nylander here? And what are we going to get from these Toronto Maple Leafs? And then no show would be complete without a couple of these ladies here. Yeah.
Pete, you like that?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Pete. Tell me more about it. I love to hear it.
What?
No pressure.
No pressure. I don't really have a career, but I'm not trying to get canceled here, even with whatever I do have. You know what I'm saying?
On behalf of all of us here at Pub Sports Radio, thank you so much for rolling with us. I think it's perfectly put here by PG 00187. Hot Girl Summer. Hot Girl Summer. This is my favorite one, though, Pete. This her.
That's not true. That's not true, Jimmy. You know that's not true.
No, it's true. What? Just because of this? Because of her? No, come on. No, she's disheveled in all the right ways. Pete, my man, it is a treat to roll with you. Jose, congratulations on your successes. It's been very impressive watching you roll. Trotwell calls it a lukewarm summer. That's what Trotwell calls it.
I'd call it a wrinkly summer. Is March summer, Jim?
No, God. I mean, June isn't summer in
Canada. The spring of Pubapalooza is coming then.
It is, and we've got more things to add to that. So there's more things adding to our Pubapalooza schedule here imminently, and we're very
including
very
Pete's face too, right, Pete? Right?
Maybe.
He has been called to arms in Ukraine, so we'll have to wait and see how push comes to shove. Pistol Pete, any last words before Crystal Warren's calling it a hot flash summer? Hot flash summer.
Very nice. No, I mean, I last words. I have the words that I wrote a few weeks ago, which are as true now as they were then. Maybe more true now than they were when
perfect. Jose, can you put a bow on this as soon as these important words are delivered?
Oh God, I'm so excited. Inject these right into my veins.
Okay. So this is just something I wrote a few weeks ago, and again, it's more true now than it was a few weeks ago. And so I'll just read what I wrote to you. You know, what I wrote for this. I had a really good time in the video today. You're all really great. You all had a lot of great things to say about the games today, and it was really fun. I hope all our picks win today.